1013 here on FM 1017 1320 KLWN. Depend on it. It is Wednesday, 10 o'clock. We're going to visit once again with Tony Rubo out of Briggs Subaru in Topeka. And we've been talking for the last several weeks about what's been going on in the car business, and you know, the thing is that we've kind of run into a steady pattern of limited availability on new cars, and a lot of people wanting to trade in their highly priced used cars for other used cars.
Yeah, that's kind of the case right now.
You're down to zero, I hear.
Down to zero.
No new cars on the lot.
No new cars on the lot.
Can you? How long have you been working in the car business?
42 years.
Can you ever remember another week even that you were literally completely zero out of cars?
Never. You know, we got cars that are coming in, they're going back out because they're pre-sold.
Right.
We have a few, every now and then, there have been a couple customers just say, hey, I don't want to wait anymore. I'm going to cancel my order, so that car becomes available.
Right.
But it's usually sold
for a few hours
that day. Yeah, it's usually already just, somebody goes, oh, really? I can sell that? Yeah, and a couple phone calls and done.
So again, in case anybody's new to the party, this is all due to a shortage of computer processor chips that are used in cars, but they're used in other things as well, like refrigerators and computers and phones and stuff like that. But cars use them, and the car manufacturers, whether it's Subaru or others, are not able to get the parts they need to make new cars, and so they're making as much as they can, but so it's not that they're not producing at all, but they're not producing nearly at the rate that normally is being produced for a new car manufacturer.
Yeah, on top of trying to catch up from what they don't have. So and there's some other things in play is like the workforce. They don't have truckers that are working to even bring the cars.
So they're delivering, those big car hauler trucks you sometimes see on the highways. They don't have people to drive them.
Right. So the ETAs on the delivery are skewed by weeks. And then we had a train derailment in Texas a few weeks ago. So they took 1,300 cars they were shipping to dealers, and they stopped in Texas. They had to turn around and go back to California and then redistribute all those cars in a different form.
Talk about a perfect storm.
Yeah. So then as you explained to the customer, well, it was going to be July 26th, and now it's going to be August 13th.
Boy, I bet they love to hear that.
Yeah, it's not great. Although, to Subaru's credit, and I brag about Subaru as a company, like if you order a car in July and it's going to be a September, October delivery, they're doing a $500 rebate for you to purchase like accessories on your car. So they're saying, hey, sorry, here's a little something for your wait because we don't have them available. Pick out some accessories to add to your new Subaru, and we'll pay for them. So again, Subaru stepped up, and they're really a great car company.
I was gonna say that's good. That's good to see them do. What are people what are people jumping on for accessories? I'm just curious.
Oh, I mean, dog stuff.
Really?
Oh yeah, rear seat cover for the dog. They got little carriers for your cat with a little water dish and stuff, and they got all kinds of pet accessories.
I actually don't transport my dog that much as much as I used to, but that's always been a car thing. That of course, that's with you and me over the years when we were young. I mean, they didn't have car seats and all that. I'm talking for human beings, not for,
right?
But over the years, they have gotten a lot better with transporting children. Cars or dogs and cats, on the other hand, it's still not always so easy to get them as safely as you might want to.
Yeah.
But
so they're. Again, as a car company for Subaru, they're doing everything they can to try to make a customer happy because people, they want their car. They get impatient. It's understandable. And then try to explain to them that there's a train derailment in Texas and your car went back to California.
And they're like, wait, my car was on a train?
Yeah. But the good news.
Why didn't you just drive it here?
Yeah, exactly. The good news is we're still having a mega used car sale. And it ends this Saturday.
Oh, okay.
So we still have a lot of cars to sell.
Well, I was going to ask about that too, because typically new cars, companies tend to switch from one model year to the next about now in terms of their manufacturing. Are you surprised that they are still planning on shutting down with all of the I guess they have to retool because they're going to want to put out a new model year whether they have parts or not.
Well, Yes, I'm not. Excuse me. No, I'm not surprised, and simply because of the information I have from Subaru is the Subaru workers take the first week of August every year, so they plan their vacation a year or in advance. So they already know they're going to be gone. So they've made plans, and they're not going to stop their plans for their workers over this. And they go in, they do have a workforce set that goes in and does the retooling that first week of August. So they do everything that first week of August. They take vacations and have a separate workforce that does the retooling for the new models.
So all that sets up, like you said, this situation where, people still need cars, one way or another. Either they just want to have a new car or a different car or whatever, a newer car than the one that they have, or their old one has, petered out for whatever reason. Either it's just not working anymore, there's an accident or something like that. And, so certified pre-owned at this point is probably your best bet.
Certified pre-owned is a great bet. It's a good bet. Even when we have new cars, people buy the certified pre-owned because you get a little longer warranty. You do get special rates on the certified pre-owned cars. We got rates as low as like 1.48 on certified pre-owned cars. That's not a rate you can get it at your credit union or a bank.
No, and in fact, it's as good or better than oftentimes you'll get on a new car.
Yeah. So certified pre-owned is definitely a way to go.
Yeah, and they've also lost a certain amount of value. The old adage is, cars lose X amount of value the moment you drive them off the lot or whatever. So you get a certified pre-owned car that's a year old or year and a half old or whatever, you're getting a lot of value for that. And you've got that, the warranty and so on, so you don't have to worry as much about, well, what happens if it turns out that, there's things wrong with it.
Right. The other thing is we've made a shift in the last probably 30 days. We're trying to keep some school cars around. So because it's that time.
Mm-hmm.
And that $10,000 or less car it's a hard car for us to sell. So what we try to do is we try to inspect it and make sure the brakes are good, and that it runs good. And then we'll tell you, hey, here's the things we didn't fix. Here's the things someday you may want to fix or you may not. It's not a perfect car, but it's going to start and it's going to stop. So we're working on trying to have a better selection of those cars for the public as well.
And, we've talked about this in the past that because of the shortage of new cars, that, you still have a demand for cars. So the used car, economy is basically inflated. But that also applies to someone who owns a car that they're going to have to either trade in or sell. The value of those cars are still up.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this before. If the market's up, then you're paying a high premium to get the new car, but you're also getting a high premium for yours. So the middle. When the market's down, you get to buy the newer car at a lower price, and yours is at a lower price, so you're still paying the middle no matter what. So it works either way.
Yeah, it does. And so that, again, it puts you in a real good position if you happen to have extra cars at this point.
Sure. Heck yeah.
And you guys are still buying cars straight out?
Probably, just in my Subaru store, I'm probably buying 4 or 5 a week. But at a pretty steady pace. From Camaros to Mustangs to Subarus to you about name it. We've bought them.
Well, and, it's funny because a lot of times people don't think about things like that in terms of, I had the real estate people on yesterday, and they were talking about, we have an inflated real estate market right now as well.
Yeah.
And but people are in the same kind of situation where when you think about, buying a house, yeah, it's going to be an expensive purchase at this point, and it's oftentimes tough to find, and pieces of property go on the market and are gone within days or even hours, depending on their price point. And one of the bits of advice that they get sometimes from real estate agents is if you're making a lateral move where you are selling a house to purchase a different house, that if you have a house right now that is really high up in value, you can sell your house and then rent for a little while, wait for the market to go down, because this is a temporary situation. And they think that's the case in real estate as well, that, as prices start to kind of normalize a little bit, then you go purchase. Now, I wouldn't recommend anybody going to Hertz, but at the same time, that you can, though, on the other hand, like you were talking about, maybe getting a vehicle, you can get rid of the vehicle you have if it's a really inflated value vehicle, get something that maybe isn't so expensive, something that's, that can hold you over for a little while. and then maybe make a new car purchase in 6 months or a year or something like that.
It's hard for me to promote that, being in the business that I'm
in.
I see your theory, but I need people to come in and buy cars.
But they would be. But that's what I'm saying is that they would still be getting a car. They would just be getting one, and you don't have the new ones to sell them anyway. And it would just be one of those things where you're not actually renting a car, but in a way you are, because you're purchasing one that you're going to sell in a shorter period of time that isn't going to lose as much value as if because if you buy a new car and then you're going to sell it a year later, it loses a lot of value. But if you buy a used car that's in, a certain lifespan of the car and you're only planning on hanging on to it for 6 months or a year or whatever, and that way you can get yourself a new car but not be in a situation where you've, lost a lot of value in what you had for a little while.
Yeah, crazy. This has been crazy times. Just we've had people that are in leases for a year that I've taken out and put them in a 2022, and their payment was the same or less. Mm-hmm. And they're scratching their head wondering why, and don't care. Technically, it's like, okay, well, I can get the new one. I've only got 8,000 miles on this one. No biggie. Because normally in a lease, your break even is about 28 months in a 36-month agreement is when you're even.
Right.
And so normally we start making that call around the 26th month, starting to say, hey, let's take a look at your situation. What do you want to do when your lease comes due? We're calling people in a year, and they're like, why are you calling me? Well, you mean I can trade my lease now? Yep, you sure can.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And in that scenario, by the way, it does them no good to hang on to it longer. In other words, because you already have an agreed upon price at the end of the lease that is not as much as you can get now, then you've actually, there's no incentive to hang on to it. All you're doing is basically getting yourself a newer car for no money.
Exactly. Yeah, you're taking an 8,000-mile car and taking it back to a 0-mile car.
Right.
And people are like, are you sure you can do this? And yeah, we can. Makes me nervous on the trade-ins, though.
Yeah.
Because if this market does flip, then I got a problem. But based on what I know so far, I don't see this market changing till first of the year.
Yeah, not for a while anyway. And even then, it's going to take a little while for everything to sort of fluctuate out. And like you said before, even as the value of some of the trade-ins that you've paid for goes down, you're also going to not need to pay as much for trade-ins that you get then too. So
right,
you'll be in the middle just like everybody else.
Yeah, exactly. So I just don't see the market changing because you were asking, well, am I going to get new cars? I'm going to get them, but they're already sold.
Yeah.
So my pavement's still going to be empty with new cars for months and months, because the allocation, they can only build so fast, so many. And what they're building, they're already selling, and they don't have the ability to sell or to build more yet. So normally they build at about a 70,000 car pace for my region. They're building at 30, and they're going to hope to get to 50 by January. So they can't get to full capacity before December.
Right.
So you're not going to see a lot of new cars out there.
No, and that's got to service everybody, not just, Topeka.
No, that's the big guys in Kansas City, Olathe, and, all around.
So you mentioned that you've got the used car mega sale that's going on till the end of the month, which is this Saturday, I guess. So what's the incentive to get in by the end of the month?
Well, we always have, for the dealer, if you read the book, it's like, well, the last day of the month's always good because Tony's trying to hit the goal that he told Mr. Briggs he was going to sell. And so, there's always motivation there. Salespeople have quotas, so they're excited to try to hit their quotas. So it's always just a good buildup. That last day of the month's always, that last weekend, last day is always, it's just good. You find, you're going to get your best deal in the last few days of the month.
And people can still find all the information they need at briggsauto.com, right?
Yes, briggsauto.com. And keep in mind, we're trading for cars faster than we can get them on the website. So it doesn't hurt to just come down because we have other cars that we can't get up on the websites fast enough sometimes.
And if you see something that you like there and it doesn't happen to be at Briggs Subaru in Topeka, you can get it out to your dealership if they call ahead and let you know you're interested in that and want to see what else is on the lot.
We can do that, and if there's a certain car and it's at a certain location, we deliver right to your door. We can do the paperwork at your house, and you can take delivery at your house. We deliver too. So
wow, very good. All right, Tony Rubo from Briggs Subaru in Topeka. hopefully the mega sale goes well, and we'll be looking forward to talking to you again about hopefully some new models in a few months. How's that sound?
That sounds good, Joel. Thank you.